The Scots have been making headlines. Thousands traveled to the United States earlier this month to watch the World Cup. And our fellow countrymen's behavior, while there, garnered attention. My social media feeds were filled with videos of Scottish visitors to the city of Boston. Did you see them too? A sea of kilts and saltire flags, bagpipes echoing through the streets, Scottish fans filling bars and parks and public spaces. And what was the reaction? Well, according to the internet and the international news organizations reporting on the matter, Americans were well impressed. They couldn't believe how friendly and good-humored the Scots were. Some locals described it as the best time of their lives. The clearest tribute came from Sam Kennedy, president of the Red Sox baseball team. After thousands of Scottish supporters had marched to Fenway Park, he wrote a formal letter of thanks. "We knew the Tartan army was coming," he wrote. "We did not fully understand what that meant until we saw it." So, well done, Scotland. Well done for showing the world who we are, for being boisterous while being kind, for being willing to join in local traditions instead of staying apart, for not being afraid to look a little foolish. That's something to be proud of. This kind of exuberance was not received so positively, however, by some in today's gospel. Jesus' presence had created a stushy. People were shouting and crying out in the temple. And Jesus' response is essentially to say, well, what did you expect? The blind and the lame came to him and were cured. Yes, they were boisterous, filled with marvel, exuberant with delight, and overflowing with gratitude. After all, many had spent their whole lives without knowing anything like this kind of joy. Much like Scottish football fans. Part of me wonders if the kind of suspicion of exuberance, of enthusiasm and liveliness shown by the chief priests and the scribes has somehow echoed down through the years of the church. Perhaps with some reason. Enthusiasm is unpredictable and difficult to control. Maybe that's why this country's culture has often preferred orderly cues. And it's one reason why the recent Scottish takeover of Boston is so interesting. Because many of the things the Americans loved, the singing, the bagpipes, the marches, the willingness to talk to strangers, can make some folks slightly uncomfortable. I don't know. How do you react to all this? Perhaps it fills you with pride. Perhaps it makes you cringe a little. For my part, not being much of a football fan, some of it, if I'm honest, seems a little too rowdy for my taste. If I'm even more frank, a little childish. But maybe that is the point. For according to Jesus, it is from the mouths of children that true praise comes. The ones who are able to express their joy without reservation are the ones who point to God. And that is where today's gospel meets today's feast. The children in the temple were responding to what they had seen and heard. Their praise was the natural consequence of their devotion, even if it was a little boisterous. And today, on this feast of the church's dedication, we give thanks. We give thanks for that kind of conspicuousness, that kind of showiness throughout the years. The ways in which people have put themselves out there and expressed their faith in public. Just look around. Dedication is visible. And it isn't shy. One final thought. Perhaps there's a reason why I keep making everybody walk around the streets around here in procession behind bagpipes. Maybe more people are drawn to that sort of thing than we imagine. Ask the people of Boston.